This episode of Sideline Warning is brought to you by Roost Sport, makers of the original magnetic running pouch. Whether you're biking, running, hiking, or even traveling, the Roost Sport clips to your waistband with magnets for an easy, convenient way to carry what you need without the bulk of belts or bags. Visit theroostsport.com and use the code SIDELINE30, all lowercase, for 30% off their entire product line. Again, that's theroostsport.com, promo code SIDELINE30. And now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sideline Warning, the show where sports takes are sure to go way too far into the field. Here to recap this week's biggest and best sports stories are your hosts, Dave Adams, Ben Foster, and Adam Russell.
Hey everybody, and welcome into episode 44 of Sideline Warning. As always, you have the one, the only, the golden voice of the Southeast, Dave Adams, coming to you live and in living color from Harvest, Alabama. And as always, I have brought my friends along, all the way down from Birmingham, Alabama, Hollywood Ben Foster. What's going on, Ben?
I'm here. It's me.
It's you, something. I don't know.
I got a wicked sunburn over the weekend because I failed to wear sunscreen at all for the Alabama game.
Why in the world would you do that? Now, of course, I didn't have to. I sat in a place where the sun
Oh, you fancy.
I was fancy. I was fancy. I sat in the zone last week. It was awesome. If you ever get a chance to sit in the zone, I highly recommend it. I don't know how. Go ahead. What?
Normally there would be enough of a crowd to like cast a shadow or like give me a little bit of coverage. There were not enough people. I was like completely exposed there in the upper deck. Well, not completely exposed, but you know what I mean. There was nobody there to make shade for my legs.
You know, Saban said, "Stay for 60, play for 60." I actually stayed for 60 this week, but
I did too.
You know, 99% of the stadium, I would say, probably stayed for 30.
And that's presuming everybody that actually was there for one in the first place.
That's exactly true. I've never seen the student section that empty. But before we get into it,
was bad.
Yeah, it was, but it was still a sellout. Before we get into it, let's bring in our other friend, all the way down from Conway, from Claremont, from Goldenrod, from Flagler Beach, from Celebration, from Kissimmee, from St. Cloud, from the House of Mouse, the one, the only, Adam Russell.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. That's normally Ben's entrance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should we start over? How are you doing?
No, it's okay.
I'm jealous of you guys getting sunburned or not, and getting to go to the game, even if it was half empty. I was in an escape game on Saturday.
During the Bama game?
During the Bama game.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I wanted to know what it felt like to be locked in a room for 60 minutes with no hope of escape, just like Louisiana, Louisville, any of our opponents. I want to know what it felt like to play Alabama. So I locked myself in a room for an hour and did everything I could to get out.
So you didn't get a chance to see Waddle live?
Oh, I did on the back end, not live, no. But
okay.
I did get to see it on the back end, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Although you did make some comments about Jalen.
That's because my phone was lighting up with touchdown, and then all of a sudden it's like fumble. I'm like, oh, Jalen must be in.
No, Jalen played well.
Well, we didn't. How many points did he generate as the offensive leader?
14.
Out of how many?
Yeah. Okay, but you know what? We normally lead with football because that's normally the big story of the week. But I was outvoted this week, and I think y'all both want to start with baseball.
Don't act like you didn't want baseball too, Dave.
No, yeah, I wanted baseball. I wanted baseball, but you know, we're a Bama podcast, but we can talk baseball first. That's okay with me.
We're a Southeastern podcast, and guess what? A Southeastern team made it into the playoffs.
I know. Welcome to, we are recording on October 1st, so we can officially say, welcome to Choptober.
Love it. That is
the
music
Braves
to my ears.
Are back in the playoffs. It's been since, 2012?
No, it's been since 2013?
Yeah.
2014?
Whatever. It was Chippers last year, wasn't it? Chippers last year was the last time the Braves were in the playoffs.
No, that's not right, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I thought they made it right after Chipper.
No, I don't believe so.
Things we should know. We call ourselves real Braves fans.
Well,
2013
okay.
against the Dodgers. Imagine that.
Oh, that was the year that Freddie Gonzalez should have left and done a 6-pitch save for Craig Kimbrell, and the Braves would have gone past the Dodgers. But Freddie Gonzalez decided to not do a 6-pitch or 6-out save, and the Braves ended up losing because of Juan Uribe. Yeah.
Oh, Juan Uribe. Those were the days.
Yeah. No. So history has repeated itself, and the Braves will be the 3 seed against the number 2 seed Los Angeles Dodgers, because as we said, we're recording this on Monday afternoon or Monday night. The Dodgers have gone in and beaten the Rockies, and so it will be the Rockies versus the Cubs for the wild card, and then you're going to see the wild card winner versus the Brewers. The Brewers are the overall number 1 seed. Raise your hand if you saw that coming.
None of us did, by the way. We picked the Cubs, myself, and you guys picked the Cardinals.
Okay. Adam, go ahead and read off what our picks were. Adam went back and painstakingly listened to our old March broadcast of where we picked who we thought would be the divisions and the wild cards. So go ahead and tell us how right or wrong we were, Adam.
Sure. So for the East, we all picked the Nationals. So big X on that one. I picked the Dodgers for the West. Ben picked the Rockies for the West.
I picked the Giants.
Picked the Giants. Womp womp.
You're third.
And I picked the Cubs, and then Dave and Ben picked the Cardinals for the Central. My wild cards were Rockies and Cardinals. Dave's wild cards were Cubs and Dodgers. Ben's wild cards were Cubs and Giants.
Hey, did I put the Cubs in the right place?
You did.
Yes.
I did as well.
You did. And then for AL East, we had Yankees. I had Yankees. Dave had Yankees. Ben had Red Sox.
How
for the
about
West,
that?
We all picked the Stros. And then for the Central, me and Dave picked the Indians, and Ben picked the Twins.
Whoops.
So,
and wait, who were the wild cards there in the AL?
Both Dave and I had the Red Sox and the Angels, which couldn't be further from the truth.
yeah.
And then Ben had the Yankees and the Indians.
So
who got the most teams into the playoffs correct? Like if you pick somebody for the wild card and they won the division, that still counts as like in the playoffs correct.
Okay, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4.
This may take a moment, folks. Bear with us.
I had 5. 5 of the 8.
Dave had 5 of 8.
Yeah.
Adam, you've got the paper in front of you. How did I do?
6.
6 of 8.
And I had 6 as well.
So Dave's not as good.
Hang on.
Dave's not as good at baseball as you and I. That's what I heard.
That's what I hear. But
I actually had 7, but you
had 7.
Did
We're
you have
all
7,
right there
Adam?
together. Yeah.
So what was your miss? The Angels and the A's? You picked the Angels and should have picked.
There's
the
only
A's?
8 that make it, and I know you missed on 2 of them.
Well, we picked the division and both wild card teams, so that's 5 from each. So that's a total of 10.
Okay, you're right.
So you got 7 of 10.
Yes.
Ooh, I had 5 of 10. That's 50%. That's not bad. I mean, that's a 500 batting average.
It actually mirrors very closely our college picks, but we'll talk that later.
No, because I'm not in last place in our college picks. Thank you very much. But
By the way, Dave, one more fact check while we're at it. Chipper's last season was 2012. The Braves proceeded to make the playoffs the next year in 2013. But I wouldn't expect you to know that because you're not a big Chipper Jones fan.
Oh, dear Lord. Really?
When I was going back and listening to the picks, the quote from you, Ben, was, "I'm more of a smart aleck during baseball season. The next 6 months are going to be a whole lot of fun." And here we are.
Here we are.
You're true to your word.
Welcome to October, boys.
It's not October, Ben. It's Choptober.
Welcome to Choptober.
So let's go ahead and get into it. The Braves versus the Dodgers. I would go ahead and say it's a lock. They haven't announced pitchers yet, but I would say it's a lock. The Braves will start off against Clayton Kershaw, and my guess would be the Braves would start Fulte.
Yeah, the Braves are going with Fulte.
Yeah, I'd say it's Fulte, Sanchez, and probably Newt.
No,
You say Gossman?
Everything seems to point to Gossman and Sanchez, and probably Sanchez being your number 2 guy and Gossman being your third. There are some people arguing that Newcomb should get a start because he almost pitched a no-hitter against the Dodgers, but Newcomb was atrocious in August and September, so I think he's going to work out of the bullpen just like he did on Sunday.
So I think that it would have been, if we had played the Rockies in this, Tehran would have definitely made the 25-man roster. Because Tehran actually pitched well against the Rockies. I think we can actually say thank you to the Rockies for not winning this. I don't think Tehran's going to be on the 25-man playoff roster.
I don't think he will be in this round. I actually think he may get edged out by Tukey, which is not what I was thinking the other day. But now, unless Snitker really relies on seniority to fill out his roster, I'm thinking Tukey Toussaint may have figured out a way to sneak in. But Tehran pitched well down the stretch, and Newcomb didn't. So maybe you put Tehran in there and leave off Newcomb. It's unfathomable at this point to think of leaving any of these guys out of there.
I say it's okay to leave Tehran out because I think Tehran has been an underachiever. I'll go ahead and say it. He's probably been a failure this year. He has not been the Tehran that the Braves hoped he would have been. Every year they name him as the number 1 starter, and every year he proves that he's no more than a 4, probably a 4 or a 5 starter. I'm okay if the Braves don't even bring him back next year.
Yeah, we end up saying that every year. You're right. I think in the past I've always blamed it on lack of run support as to why he lost so many games, but he actually had that this year and still found a way to not be that great. So, in the end.
Yeah, and don't tell me it's because SunTrust Park is not a pitcher's ballpark. The other guys are able to find out how to pitch at SunTrust. Yep. Tehran just does not know how to pitch at SunTrust, and I think it's because we put way too much stock in him. Okay, bring him on the road, but you can't put him on the playoff roster just to play on the road because that leaves off another man's bullpen spot. So what do you say we do? Do we put him on there with the hopes that he stays on?
No way.
I think Tehran finished well in the season. On the season, his opponent's batting average was 196.
Whoop-de-doo, but how many home runs did he give up?
Well, all these guys gave up home runs, and everybody's been walk-prone, so...
It's a trap, Ben.
If you look at everybody's worst day, nobody should make the team. But Tehran finished pretty well down the stretch, and I was making the exact opposite argument a few weeks ago that there was no room whatsoever for Tehran on the roster. But now I'm starting to rethink that.
Okay, so if it's Tehran versus Tukey, who do you take? Because that's probably what it's going to come down to. I'm giving Tukey the spot.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's going to go to Tukey, but I would not be surprised if Tehran's the guy just based on seniority.
Well, all right. Well, so if Tehran, let's say they bring both of them, who do they leave off the playoff roster? You have to probably leave a bat off the playoff roster. And the National League, you probably don't want to take a bat off the roster because you need the bench depth. I mean, do you bring Preston Tucker on the road?
Well, I think the real question is who you want to have if you want to have 3 catchers. And, you could use Culberson as your third catcher, but I don't think you do that because it's looking now like Swanson may not be on there. So if you want to take a bat out, Swanson may be out just because he's not 100% healthy.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think you're going to need Culberson, you're going to need Flaherty, you're going to need Camargo, you're going to need all those guys because everyone's used to having Swanson there. Swanson's really been a good player for the Braves this year. He hasn't exactly been a power guy, but he's been consistent in the field, and I think the Braves are going to miss that.
I mean, you got to have Culberson in the mix, and it looks like he's going to be your starting shortstop. I don't know that Flaherty is somebody you bring on the roster. He really faded down the stretch. He had a great start to the season. If we could get the Flaherty that batted in April, then yeah, I'm all for it.
then who's going to be your backup shortstop? Because Culberson was that utility guy. Say Camargo got into a bind, and say, heaven forbid, Albies or Freeman got in a bind. You put what's his name? Why did I lose his name? You put Charlie Hustle in there. If he goes down, if one of those other guys go down, you need a utility player, so you have to bring Flaherty along.
I just don't know that you get that much with Flaherty. Maybe it actually is more profitable to bring in like Rio Ruiz.
No, Ruiz is just a third base guy.
Well, so is Flaherty. Flaherty doesn't play shortstop.
Yeah. Flaherty plays first base. So you need somebody like that.
You need somebody that can hit, and Flaherty can't do that right now.
Neither can Adam Duvall, but we're bringing him along.
I think Duvall can. I think Duvall would be more worthwhile than Flaherty, because at least he's a situational hitter.
Okay, all right. Well, we've probably debated this to death now. We don't normally do picks in the first segment, but I think let's not bog down into football before we get away from baseball. So we've got the playoff brackets. We know what's going to happen. I want you to give me who's going to win each round, and not just who's going to win the round. I want you to give me the number of games they win and how many games. So, for instance, let's go wild card first. I got Cubs, and then I've got the Yankees.
Let's do it by league. That'll be a little cleaner.
Okay.
So we'll start off with the American League, and we'll bring it home to the National League here.
All right, sounds good. You're the pick guy.
I got the whole bracket in front of me. I love a good bracket. So we've got the wild card game with the A's at the Yankees. Who do you guys like for that?
Yankees.
Yeah, I'd really like for the A's to win this one. I think the Yankees. It goes back to something Dave said at the beginning of the year with the power and the way they perform. I think the Yankees beat the A's in one game. You said the number, so there you go.
That's
Yes.
Which is asinine. I think that the wild card needs to be at least 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I think what you do, I think you need to do away with these tiebreaker games. You can figure out a tiebreaker based on like division record versus the other teams in the division. I think you do something like that and let the wild cards play a 3-game series, so they basically just have no rest. They go from the season to the wild card series straight into the division series. I think that'd be splendiferous. I gotta go with the Yankees. I'm with you guys. I will be rooting hard for Moneyball tomorrow, but it is hard for me to think that in one game you wouldn't go with the Yankees and pick them to win there. So we've got that. So the winner of the wild card game will go into a 5-game series with the Boston Red Sox. So we've all got the Yankees. Who's going to win a Yankees-Sox series where the Red Sox have home field advantage?
I've got this going in 5 games, and I'm going power. I've got to go the Yankees in that small field there at the Red Sox at Boston. I'm going the Yankees winning that one in 5.
Interesting. Yeah. That's tempting, Dave. I have to say I follow your line of reasoning there, but I don't end in the same place. I think the Red Sox have just been too good this year. I think they'll continue that. I think they'll take it in 5. I think it's the Red Sox.
So both of you guys are picking a 5-game, going all 5 in this 5-game series.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm going to take the Red Sox in 4. I just think they're a much more complete team. Power's great, but also sometimes that leads to strikeouts. And I think when you're facing the good pitching from the Red Sox, and 3 of those games or at least 2 of the first 4 would be in Boston. I just think that's too much in a Boston playoff atmosphere. I'm going to go with the Red Sox there, taking it in 4.
All right.
The other American League Division Series will put the Indians against the Astros. Who do you guys like for that? The Astros, of course, have home field advantage.
This is a tough one because the Indians actually have played Houston decently well this year. This isn't your normal Indians-Astros game. I mean, the Astros are a better team. I hate to say 5 again, but I think this is going to be the closest series that you're going to see of any of these. I'm going to have the Astros winning it, and I don't think you're going to see – I'm going to see it winning in 5, and I don't think you're going to see many games decided by more than 1 or 2 runs.
That's a lot of faith in the Indians. I think looking at how Houston finished and looking at the overall season, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Houston in 3.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I am amazed by the pitching staff for both of these teams, and I think in a 7-game series there's a much clearer advantage for the Astros than there is. I mean, a much clearer advantage for the Astros in a 7-game series than there is here in a 5-game series, and because of that, I actually think Cleveland is going to be able to have just enough to pull this out. So I'll take the Indians in 5.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Knocking off the World Series champs.
I go out on a limb, and here comes Ben knocking me off, and he steps out on the limb himself.
Did Ben just go with the dumpster fire city?
I believe that he did. I think he's been intimidated.
Did the city of Cleveland intimidate you, Ben?
He has been intimidated.
I love Cleveland. I believe in Cleveland. I believe in Believe Land.
Wow.
All right, so I've got the Yankees and Astros, and I'm going to say the Yankees in 6. Yankees in 6.
You always were like a closet Yankees fan, weren't you, Dave?
No, I love Powerball. Mm-hmm. I love home runs.
Dave digs the long ball.
Yes, I do.
Is Dave a chick, perhaps?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, just checking.
I think the Stros, right?
Yeah, I've got the Sox and the Stros. I have Boston moving on. When you talk number of games, though, if I had to pick one, not to copy you, but I'd go with 6 too on that one.
All right, for my matchup, I've got the Indians facing the Red Sox, and I just think Boston is that good, and they're not going to take their foot off the gas. So I'm going to take Boston in 5. There we go. Okay. Red Sox into the World Series.
So we've all got the American League East winning.
Well, yes.
Okay.
It's the best teams, not necessarily the best division, but definitely the best teams at the top of that division.
Yes.
All right. National League, we've got the wild card, which was set today because we're recording on a Monday. We've got the Rockies taking on the Cubs, who should have been the division winner.
Both these teams should have been the division winner.
Both of them should have been. Cubs hosting the Rockies. What's going to happen in this 1-game sudden death game at Wrigley?
At Wrigley. Are you kidding me? Wrigleyville is going to be loud and hopping. It's not even going to be close. Chicago's going to destroy.
Yeah. I don't know about destroy, but it'll be a fun game to watch. I've got the Cubs.
Yeah, having to turn around and quickly play again, 28 hours later, I think it is, and also the Rockies being the ones that have to travel. The Cubs want it. They're more experienced. They overall are the much more talented team. I got to go with the Cubs here to set them up for a rematch with the Brewers. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about that. I think we all went with the Cubs. Is that right?
Yep.
Cubs and Brewers, a rematch of today's game 163. This time it's a 5-game series. Does that change who comes out on top?
No, Cubbies and 4.
So that does change who comes out on top.
Well, okay, yes. It didn't change my mind. I thought the Cubs were going to come out on top anyway.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I've got the Brewers in 5 on this one. They finished strong. I think they're going to continue to play well, and I think they can top the Cubs and make it to the NLCS.
I got to go Cubs in 5 with at least 1 game going to extra innings.
Okay.
Oh, the extra pick. I love it.
Yes, you got to throw in something extra there to spice it up. Next up, we've got the Braves taking on the Dodgers. The Dodgers have home field advantage. It's a 5-game series in Los Angeles, with the first 2 games in Los Angeles. How do you guys think this is going to fare?
Ben, you're not going to like my pick. Dodgers in 3.
Woo,
wow.
Dave. I have no faith in Choptober this year. None.
Then why don't you call it October?
Well, because
Dodgetober.
It's going to be Dodgetober. The Braves are failures when it comes to playing the Dodgers.
There we go. Keep calling them failures, Dave.
I love it. I love every minute of it because I think these pesky little guys that have decided to surprise all of us this year when we all picked the Nationals and said that they were the best team in the NL East, they've proven us wrong. And I think they're going to prove us wrong again. And I think it's going to be rough at the beginning with the first two being in Los Angeles. But I think the Braves will take it in 5. And
Homer. Homer.
Well, I'm a homer for either one of these technically. But I think the Braves in 5. And I think if we take game 1 against Kershaw, I think that changes my pick. But I think if we have to face Kershaw, this is the year to do it. So, Ben?
Dave's not going to be happy with me, but I'm optimistic about the Braves. The Braves didn't have to play game 163. They won their division outright. They didn't have to have any of that going around. The Dodgers
played in the crappiest division in baseball.
The Dodgers faded down the stretch. They had a chance to take full control of the West, and when it really mattered, they weren't able to win some of the biggest games. Now, they did just what they needed to get past the Rockies today, but they almost gave up the West altogether. And I just think part of the Dodgers' problem is their bullpen was not 100% down the stretch. Now, bullpen's definitely a weak spot for the Braves too, but I think when it comes down to it, the Braves bats can do just enough in a 5-game series to make this really interesting. So I'm going to take the Braves in 5.
All the Braves had to do was win 2 of the last 6, and we could be doing 2 at SunTrust, and you can be going to a game on Friday night. But no. The Braves couldn't win 2 of the last 6. 2 of them against the Phillies, of all people. And
they already clinched. Chill out.
And you expect them to beat the Dodgers?
Yeah,
they wanted to go
absolutely.
to California.
Homers, y'all. Y'all are a bunch of homers.
And I'm just saying, a playoff game is very different from a game after you've clinched.
All right, so I've got the Cubs and I've got the Dodgers. And I've got this going to 7. Cubs winning in 7. I got Cubs versus Bo Sox.
I hate to say it, but this is where the Braves' luck's going to run out on mine. I think the Brewers are going to ride their way into the World Series, and I think they'll take this one in 6.
Who did I pick? I don't even remember now. That's how fired up I was.
Brewers
the Cubs
and
the Braves. No, Cubs and the Braves.
No, Cubs and Braves.
Did I have the Cubs or did I have the Brewers? I went with the Cubs for a 5-game series. For a 5-game series,
yes.
That's right.
And 1 game in extra innings.
That's how much of a toss-up it is. It really could be either way when the Cubs and the Brewers get together. So I've got the Cubs and the Braves. I actually think the Braves match up better with the Cubs than any of the other teams in the playoffs. But I think
my goodness.
But I think the pressure of having to play this 7-game series against the Cubs experience actually results in the Cubs getting the win. I'll take the Cubs in 6 over the Braves, putting the Cubs into the World Series against the Red Sox.
Actually, I had the Cubs and Yankees, didn't I? Y'all had You've got the Brewers and Bo Sox, Adam. You've got the Cubs and Bo Sox. Which I'd love to see that World Series sometime too.
So the oldest stadium World Series.
Yep. I've got the Yankees winning it in 6.
Dave's an elitist.
Hey,
You are.
I set in the zone this week. I'm an elitist.
Yeah, if I have to look at Boston and Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee's taken advantage of a weak National League and rode their way through. I think it ends very quickly against the Sox, and I think if it does end up being the Sox and the Brewers, it could be a sweep. The Sox in 4.
I could see that.
Red Sox and Cubs is my matchup. I think the Cubs have got that World Series experience, but it's not going to be enough against the Red Sox if the Red Sox are still playing their best baseball. So I'm going to take the Sox in 6 over the Cubs.
Okay. So we've all got American League East teams winning the World Series.
There we go.
So, hey, at least we agree on the division that's winning the World Series. And you know something else that we all agree on? We all agree that Roosport is a great product. Adam, tell us about Roosport.
That was a premium segue. You keep coming up with the way to do it. I love it, Dave.
Hey,
so Roosport, great sponsor of ours, make a great product. It is a pouch that clips onto your waistband with magnets and holds anything you need for running is the primary use. I think a lot of people get introduced to it for with, you go to the expo, you see their booth, you train for half marathon or run a half marathon, you usually get one for that. But I mean, they've definitely branched out and found other uses for it with traveling, hiking, anything you're doing that involves activity where you need to carry stuff with you, but you don't want to have a bulky bag or a belt or anything like that. That's kind of that niche that Ruse Sport fits in. And you were talking about it last week, Dave. Their product line has actually started to branch out with battery packs so that your phone will last you the entire time you're running or whatever. And then with the Rue Lounger, have you had a chance to use yours, Dave?
I have it. It is so comfortable.
Yeah,
it's
is it really?
it's so easy to set up. It's literally you are laying on air. I mean, you are laying on a piece of air that just blows up in some inflatable plastic. It is amazing. My daughter loved it. I love it. And all you do is you turn around in 2 or 3 little circles, and your Rue Lounger fills up with air. You tie it off, and there you go. You have the place to just relax after a race, after watching the tailgate, watching the game. It's incredible. It's awesome. I love that product.
I think our listeners need to see a video on the fan page of you turning around in a few circles and floating a Rue Lounger so they can understand how easy it is.
I will do that. I will set that up. If Alabama doesn't play an 11 o'clock game in the next couple of weeks, which I think Bama plays at 6 against Missouri, so I think that we'll have that. We'll have that set up.
There you go.
But we'll get that on the fan page of how easy it is to set up one of these Rue Loungers. And hey, those guys at Rue Sport have given us something for the fans of Sideline Warning. They've given you a discount code, Sideline30, all lowercase. Spell out the word sideline and the number 30. Gives you 30% off your entire order. You can order one of those pouches. You can order the lounger. You can order the battery pack. You can order anything on their website. In fact, order everything on their website. You get 30% off of your entire order. They don't have to do that for us. They do that just because they like the show. They like our listeners. And hey, we appreciate them for doing that. And you know what? Show them some love. Give them a like on Facebook. Give them a like on Twitter. And tell people the pouches. If you bought anything on the site, tell people how great their product is. I'm telling y'all week after week how much I use it, how much I use the lounger, how much Adam and I use the pouches when we're training for these runs. In fact, Adam, 3 weeks from now we have to start up in our training for the half marathon.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder, sir.
Hey, no problem. Hey, time to dust off the Rue Sport and start going running again.
Yep.
So, guys, like we said, www.theruesport.com. Use the promo code Sideline30. Get 30% off your entire order. And now we're going to talk about the main event where I set in the zone. No, we're going to talk about the Alabama-Louisville game, or Alabama-Louisiana game.
Same difference.
Same difference. It was a blowout. Tua went 8 for 8, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns, QBR of 99.5. Hey, guys, guess what? Jalen had a better QBR this week.
It's almost like some people think Jalen could be a better quarterback than Tua.
I'll tell you what, some of the throws that Jalen made this week were right on the money. The throw he made to Waddle, beautiful. The throw he made to Ruggs, beautiful. I think Jalen might have learned to throw this week, guys.
There's a very wise man that I know that says something about sunshine and a pig's butt or something like. I can't remember what the exact.
Even the sun shines on a dog's butt every now and then.
So, I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. I can't remember which game it was, Dave, but Jalen came out, had a few snaps, did good. I think it was the second or third game of the season. I can't remember. And you're like, oh, he comes. It was UL Lafayette, guys. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, whatever you want to call them. It was UL Lafayette. If he didn't make good throws and didn't make good reads, I'd be significantly concerned. Now, can he do that against LSU? Can he do that if it matters down the stretch if Tua gets hurt? I still am not convinced. But hey, congratulations, Jalen. After watching Clemson and what happened in that dumpster fire this weekend of them almost walking out of Syracuse because their backup quarterback transferred, you're the man for not transferring.
Hey, guys, so just curious, who leads the SEC in pass efficiency rating?
Tua.
Tua is correct. He's got a pass efficiency rating of 238.3. Does anyone want to venture a guess who is second in pass efficiency rating in the SEC?
I do.
Yes, Dave.
Is it Jalen Hurts?
Yes, that'd be correct, with a
Calm
pass
down,
efficiency
Hermione.
rating of 198.9.
This is when we call C.J. Watson into the show, and
You guys always jump on me about singling out one statistic out of all the others just to prove my point. That's what you guys are doing right now, and doing it against me isn't fair.
Look, Tua is an outstanding quarterback. Jalen clearly has his strong suits at certain times where he plays like a great quarterback, and I think a lot of credit has got to go to these wide receivers, because as amazing as these passes were, a lot of what made these plays were great catches by the receivers and great moves after getting the ball.
And none greater moves than the freshman, Jalen Waddle.
Waddle.
So the new dance is not going to be the wobble. We're going to start doing the waddle on the sideline.
I think that's another video our listeners need to see.
Come on, waddle, baby. Okay, no.
Well, I looking at the stats, I have to say, and we talked earlier, I didn't watch a lot of the game. I caught what I could on the back end. But I like that you see guys like Jalen Waddle and Ruggs showed up, Najee Harris, and Brian Robinson Jr. was the second leading rusher. It's just these names. I mean, we don't have to put out all of the stars to take down a UL Lafayette. We can put in some of these other guys and give them some snaps. I'm just waiting for Tua to actually play in the fourth quarter at some point, even if it's to take a knee at the end.
It won't happen until LSU. Even then, LSU or Mississippi State. I don't know if Alabama needs Tua and Nick Saban. I'm sorry. I don't know if Alabama needs Tua to play in the fourth quarter against anybody until maybe Georgia. And
unless we get ourselves in a bad situation.
Right, and we might not even see Georgia in the SEC tournament, SEC championship game.
Oh, he's picking Kentucky. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I said we might not.
Every time Kentucky scored, I couldn't help but start singing, Benny and the Cats.
Oh dear Lord.
Benny.
I will say every time Kentucky scores, I enjoy it
and the Cats.
Because my high school's fight song is Kentucky's fight song.
Benny and the Cats.
So,
does it go like that?
Yes, exactly.
It is exactly that.
That's fantastic.
So, but anyway, so we've talked about the good of Saturday. Now we have to talk about the bad. Adam, how did your fantasy kickers do this weekend? For those that don't know, during our fantasy sideline warning fantasy football draft, Adam needed to draft a kicker. And against what I told him not to do, he drafted Joseph Bulovas.
I was a belover.
Wow.
So Adam, tell me how does it feel to be a belover right now?
I think I summed it up when I texted to you, Dave, that we always have this greatest of all time between Bear and Saban on this show, right? Mm-hmm. And that I honestly think that Saban's blind spot in some of these critical positions where there's always something that's just not quite right might end up costing me to where I would say, even if he wins the same number or more national championships than the Bear at Alabama, that the Bear would still be a better coach now. Because there's always something. How can we not have a kicker that can hit a 24-yard field goal?
Excuse me?
How?
Excuse me,
it's
Adam?
Inexcusable. It's inexcusable.
Getting popcorn ready.
The only thing that needs to be excused is yourself out of this conversation if you think Bear Bryant, when it's all said and done, is going to be remembered as a better coach than Nick Saban. Even people from that generation, we're not Bear Bryant people. We were not in that generation. But even people from Bear Bryant's generation that have had the privilege of watching Bryant and Saban have surrendered. They're like, yes, Saban is better than Bear Bryant.
They're 80 now. They don't know what they're talking about. Because at the end of the day,
you need to respect your elders, young man.
You do too, Mr. Foster. Let me tell you something, sir. I'm your elder by a decent margin too, if I might add.
We're only talking like 5 years there, Adam.
I know, but that's still enough.
That's half a decade.
And it just irritates me, and the whole goat thing. That's me having one of my normal text rants with Dave when something's going on during the game. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we can't do this because it's a 24-yard field goal against Louisiana this past Saturday. It's going to end up being the national championship on the line one day. And we've got to have somebody in there that can do it. And not only did the transfer not do it, but the guy who they put in his place still can't do it.
Yeah,
That's two guys.
Bama missed field goals in the national championship game, and they still won, which tells me Saban's legacy is going to continue to supersede bad kicking.
So then you're in the mindset of that it's good not to have a kicker because then that makes the offense score touchdowns.
No,
Is that your mindset?
No, it just means nobody's 100% perfect, and we're going to look back and go, Saban's the greatest coach of all time. If he had room for improvement, it was definitely in the kicking game, but he's still the greatest coach of all time.
Okay.
That's his Achilles heel.
He will be the best 98% complete coach of all time.
Where was Bear Bryant's
Just
Achilles
get a kicker.
heel?
What, Dave?
Name it. Where was Bear Bryant's Achilles heel? Name it.
It was never one consistent thing like it is with Saban.
Really?
But if you think all of Bear Bryant's teams were perfect without flaw, I mean, several of his national championships were like years where there were other teams that were awarded championships. He never had any.
1979.
Wait a minute.
It has never been more conclusive and never harder to win a championship than it is in the Saban era.
So hang on. To you're willing to go down the path to justify Saban over Bear, to say that some of those shouldn't be claimed the way that we claim them?
I'm not.
Like you're willing to say it's 17 with an asterisk just to edge Saban above the Bear?
No, they've got the same number of championships.
That's what it sounded like to me.
That's what I'd
rather have.
That's not what I said.
I'd rather say 17 and just like lock in that it's 17 and say, okay, the Bear was better, than go down that path. But hey, you know what?
Look, I'm just saying, Bryant's teams had their flaws, and you can go look at any championship team with any coach and point out flaws that they've got.
Yeah.
It's just Saban's consistently always with kicking.
I'm just over here eating popcorn because I've never heard an Adam Ben rant.
I just don't understand. I don't understand how this can be allowed to continue.
Here's my theory. Saban is so focused on his process that his process disregards kickers. I think we all know kickers are a special breed. If you look at Georgia's kicker, who's pretty successful, he's his own man. He is not with the rest of that team. Rodrigo,
he's a wild thing.
Exactly.
He's a wild thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He is a lot of kickers are weird ducks. I know some kickers, they're great guys, but all kickers are weird. Let's just be honest about that. And I think Saban's process makes no allowance for a kicker to be weird because he runs them through the system so hard. And I think that means that the kickers get their weirdness reduced, and that reduces their ability to kick. That's what I think Saban does.
There you go. Then we must have the most vanilla people on the planet, because if you can't make a 24-yard field goal, I would rather just say our new policy is we go for it on fourth down every time.
No,
I would love that. I would be all for that.
So, okay, can we at least agree on that should be the process?
I'm not defending the kickers. I'm defending Saban.
Here's what I say we do.
The kickers are horrendous. There's no argument there.
Anytime we see a kicker trot on the field, this is all we have to do. And have this playing.
So you bring up a good point, though, Dave.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. Has anybody tested Bulovis's eyesight lately? Maybe he just needs glasses.
Let's get him the horn rim glasses, and we'll be all right.
I love it.
Look, I don't want to
put a skull in the middle of it.
I don't want to disparage anyone's. I don't want to impugn anybody's reputation or trash someone's integrity. But I do want to point out the spread in this game was 48.5 points, and Bama was up by 49 in the first half. They covered the spread in the first half and then proceeded to not cover the spread. And why was that? Because of the missed field goals. I'm just saying, if to an outside observer, it might look like the kickers are fixing the game.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, no.
For those that are following Sideline Warning on Twitter, that was Ben that tweeted that.
Can we talk about the precision required to hit one of the uprights?
I mean, those that are in the stadium.
What if our kickers are placing the ball exactly where they want it? They're that precise.
So maybe Bulovis has a bionic eye, And he's like laser focused then. That's what you're thinking.
I would submit to the idea that this is because Tua is so good and so many of these games are in the bag early that this is actually Saban running a long con. We're going to find out. We're going to find out that it's like Ocean's 11. It's actually Saban's 11, and the number 11 guy you never see coming is the kicker who suddenly hits 12 field goals in the national championship game.
God, if it was a national championship game and it came down to a field goal, can you imagine how much of a basket case of emotion I would be?
Dave,
that was last year, wasn't it?
Dave, I would have to turn my phone off. That's how bad it would be.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that if I look down the box score and I go down all the stats, the one that I'm most thankful for is no Alabama punting, because I didn't want to see that again either.
Skylar DeLong does not kick it DeLong.
He's just short.
Yes, he is. I will tell you the one stat that I was upset about, and honestly, it wasn't just me that was upset about it. I need to find the post that I was talking about. I think I sent it to y'all this morning. It wasn't just me upset about it. You know, the last couple of weeks, y'all have said that I have been abnormally harsh on the defense, correct?
Yes.
Well, I wasn't the only one saying how bad it was. Saturday Down South this morning had an article, and I'm pulling that up right now. Let's see. This is Xavier McKinney, who had a pick in last week's game, said, honestly, we don't think we're really playing to the standards we think we should be playing at. There's still a lot of things we feel like we're not really dominating the way we feel like we should be dominating. So, guys, it seems like my opinions are validated by what Xavier McKinney is saying.
Okay, McKinney is talking about the defense on the whole. Last week, you were talking about the secondary specifically. And I think we all agreed there's room for the defense to improve. I think what you came in saying was the secondary was atrocious. And really the flaw in this game against Louisiana was not stopping the run. Louisiana had 200 yards rushing. That's not I get the secondary has a role to play in stopping the run, but there's 7 other guys that are responsible before it gets to the secondary. And that's what you've been saying, Dave. You said the issue was the secondary.
Well, I think this week kind of proved me a little wrong.
The defense as a whole has got to improve.
Yeah, the defense did not look good this week.
But 200 yards rushing, I mean, really?
Yeah.
How do you give up 200 to Louisiana?
We didn't even give up that many to, I don't know, Ole Miss, Louisville. We didn't give up that many, probably when you combine Ole Miss and Louisville.
Hey, guess what? It's easy.
Texas A&M.
Guess what? I'm gonna put something out there. It's easier to play defense in a full stadium than it is in a half full stadium.
Oh dear goodness! Stop making excuses for this team, Ben.
I'm not making excuses.
They played lazy.
Look.
They played lazy on Saturday.
Yeah, they did. And I think anybody would play lazy in a half full stadium.
Well, let me ask you: has that been a problem before this year?
There's no doubt about it.
Was it like that before this year? Has that been something you guys have seen? Because you go to more games than I do, obviously.
No.
I was surprised the pictures that you guys posted and sent around of how empty it was.
For the student section, yeah, that's pretty normal. But
no, that is the worst. That is the worst the student section has been at the start of a game.
Yeah, I think it was Tommy Dees that said it perfectly. There's going to be a whole generation of students that said they never went to a game because they knew they had it in the bag. That's
unfathomable to me.
It's horrible.
I just can't imagine you're giving free tickets that people would scramble for.
Well, they're not free, but
not free, but you're giving
$40
would scramble for. And it's
there have been other games though that Alabama had in the bag where the student section was in much better attendance than they were for this game. But not just the student section. The stadium is deceptive because the student section is nothing but silver bleachers, and other parts of the stadium are red seats. And Adam, you saw this on some of the photos. You were like, "Whoa, what's going on?" You know, there's a lot of people there, and it wasn't. It was red seats, and it is much harder to see empty red seats than it is to see silver bleachers, and there could have been much better improvement for the crowd as a whole at Alabama. Everybody, all of the season ticket holders, all of the regular ticket holders that had tickets to this game, there could have been much better attendance, and tickets could have been given to charity. They could have been given to friends. There's a number of things you can do with tickets, and
let's not get too far into it because you're encroaching into my sideline warning.
There we go. We're gonna save. We're not gonna steal Dave's thunder, but we're gonna save that. But I'm just saying, let's bring this back to the defense. It is always easier to play better when there's a full crowd. That's not an excuse. That's a reality.
Okay.
If you're running in a half marathon, Dave, it's easier to run when you know you've got somebody somewhere along the race that's cheering for you.
Yeah, that's true. I will say this: it's easier for me to run a half marathon if I have Adam pushing my butt, and as opposed to knowing that I'm running by myself.
Not literally, but figuratively, yes.
Figuratively, yes, of course. And if you have a crowd that is loud and engaged in a game, or you have a crowd that's indifferent to a game, that makes a difference in how you play.
Yeah. Okay. I can agree with that.
It's just a reality. How do you get up for that when you look around and you go, man, I put in all this work this week and these people didn't care to show up to see me play.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
This is why they're taking away seats.
Yeah, I agree. Let's stop hopping on it because you're encroaching into my sideline warning.
There we go.
But
I was trying to get back to the defense, but anyway.
Encroachment.
Okay. Encroachment. Sideline warning. No, this is something that Adam and I had a thought about at Halloween Horror Nights in a line when we were talking about watching the Texas A&M Alabama game and seeing how good Tua is. The best defense in our lifetime that we've seen is the 1992 Alabama defense. So let's play the hypothetical game. Let's say Gene Stallings in his 60s, in his prime of coaching, and that 1992 defense somehow all transformed back to when they were 18 to 22-year-olds, and they walked onto the field at Bryant-Denny Stadium against this 2018 Alabama offense. Who wins?
Oh, definitely Alabama's current offense.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that so quickly?
Well, for one, no disrespect to people of the 90s, but any team in the current day is going to be more athletic.
I'd agree with that.
You take Saban's worst offense of his time at Alabama, his worst offense, and it will be more athletic than the defense from 1992.
So you're telling me that Saban's worst offense could be John Copeland, Eric Curry, George Teague, Antonio Langham.
I didn't say beat. I just said more athletic.
I'm dumbfounded over here.
If you put Saban's worst offense in NFL combine drills versus the defense from 1992, Saban's worst offense will be better athletes and smoke them in combine drills. I'm not saying that means they would win straight up in an offensive-defensive scrimmage, but definitely this offense with Tua would.
With or without a shirt on, they'd smoke him in the combine drills.
Oh, Lord, no, not Andre Smith.
Sorry.
Oh,
but,
no.
So I have to say, we did talk about that in line for a Stranger Thing. I think it was the last one of the night. We had to have something to do during that hour and 15 minutes. So Copeland, Curry, 10.5 sacks apiece, right? Langham and Teague, 6 interceptions apiece.
And then you throw Sam Shade in there.
Yeah, but then you've got Waddle, and you've got Ruggs, and you've got Jerry Jeudy, and then you've got Tua. I think it's going to be tough. I think that the edge is going to go to the fact that the 1992 defense existed in a time before strength of schedule was a term that was widely thrown about. Because if people hate our schedule this year, they would have despised our 1992 schedule.
We played Tulane.
And Southern Miss and Vandy, et cetera. So I think 1992's defense's domination had something to do with that. You still can't deny at the end of the day they took on Miami, punched them right in the mouth, did everything they needed to do to stop them. But I think this offense is more explosive than that Miami offense was. I think this offense would win too.
Tua has the ability to extend a play that the Miami team, no other team that 92 defense faced. There was nobody that could extend a play with his feet the way Tua did.
Do you remember watching that game, Ben?
Yeah.
Is that a memory you have? Okay.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
I'm not that young compared to you guys.
I was just checking. You were like, what, 6?
I was in 6th grade. I was 12.
Yeah. That was a good time, man. So, yeah, that's what I was going to say is like 11, 12-year-old me is like screaming, how could you say that they wouldn't win?
Right, me too.
But yeah, I think our offense today would take it.
But then when reality sets in, you go, oh, definitely. Have you seen Jerry Jeudy? Have you seen Jalen Waddle?
Here's why I think that the 2018 team would win. Not because the players are that much better. They are. They're better. But I think that the 1992 defense did not play a zone defense. And to beat this 2018 offense, you have to play it in a zone. Langham would not have been able to beat Jerry Jeudy man-on-man. George T wouldn't be able to man up against the slot man of Jalen Waddle. But if you put him in a zone, you'd have a better shot. That Alabama team didn't play zone. So I've got to give it to 2018 offense. I hate to say it. Like Adam said, 12-year-old me is screaming at me right now in my head. But if you use the schemes that team used, Brother Oliver wouldn't have known what to do scheming against this offense.
Also, 12-year-old you never listened to a podcast.
Very true.
That is true. Yeah.
And 12-year-old me talk with a huge Southern twang.
Hopefully only had a time machine.
12-year-old you was not the golden voice of the South.
No.
He's the golden voice of the South.
Adam, there are videos that when you come up here in Christmas, you'll have to listen to.
Yeah.
Because Amanda listened to it and didn't even recognize my voice.
Wow.
Dave always had a piece of straw in his mouth that was like 18 inches long.
And now he always has a straw in his mouth. So
and now I just chew on but I'm not chewing on the straw tonight, so we're okay. One last thing I want to talk about before we get into picks is ESPN, they always do their FPI or their football power index. They now say, of course, they believe that Alabama's going to go undefeated. There's only 3 chances lower than 91% for Alabama to lose a game. They say Alabama has a 90.5% probability of beating Mississippi State, 88.58% to beat Auburn, and a 79.9% chance of beating LSU. Is ESPN giving this team too much praise?
No.
I don't think so either.
That's not praise. That's just math.
But they still say LSU has the best chance of beating Alabama? I don't think so.
Who would you say is the best? Auburn?
I'd say Auburn just because of that game.
Even after this past weekend?
Well, this past weekend had a lot to do with the weather. If that weather delay hadn't happened, I truly think that Auburn would have beat Southern Miss better than that.
I don't know. Southern Miss actually has a pretty good defense, and Auburn's had some trouble getting stuff clicking. The big thing about those games is the Auburn game is in Tuscaloosa, and the LSU game is in Baton Rouge. And also, if you look at that day, the Bama-LSU game is the same day as Georgia-Kentucky. Can anybody say CBS doubleheader?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Georgia-Kentucky is going to be a day game, and Bama-LSU we can almost certainly say is going to be a night game. Night game in Baton Rouge, LSU has a much better advantage than Auburn on the road.
That LSU team will probably only have 1 loss.
Yeah.
I predict them to lose to Georgia, so that's going to be crazy.
Can I say really quick before we move on, you know what I like best about the FPI?
What's that?
Not only does it have Alabama at number 1, but down at a lowly number 39 is the mighty Golden Knights of UCF.
Although I pulled up their schedule just for kicks and giggles today because I did a lot of work today. So the end of UCF's schedule is Cincinnati and South Florida. Cincinnati's undefeated. South Florida's undefeated. You're going to have 3 teams playing each other in the American Conference that are going to be all undefeated. So Central Florida's going to be crying if they don't make the playoffs this year undefeated.
Especially if they clear Memphis, I think in a week or two. That's always the one that they stamp themselves like we beat Memphis.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. I think that having 3 undefeated teams in the American Conference might be a little bit of a chest puffing moment for that conference. So anyway,
come on, man. I mean, look at the teams, dude. I'm sorry, you brought it up, so I'm gonna at least opine for a second. But I mean, come on, look at the teams that are in the conference, man.
I know.
You can chest puff all you want, but I mean, it's like I'm undefeated against the bottom ranked teams in the country. Well, congratulations. Sorry.
Play somebody in your
right?
out of conference schedule. I agree.
And don't cancel it. Postpone it until later.
That was North Carolina's fault. I mean, hello, Hurricane.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. So cancel the game against Navy. I don't know. Pick one. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Bama is, at least on paper, back to playing a more legitimate opponent this week by playing an SEC team. But nothing about Arkansas looks particularly good, except for the fact that they gave A&M a run for their money. Did Arkansas figure something out with their new coach and make some improvements to get ready for A&M, or did Alabama break A&M? Which is true?
That's the hallmark of any great national championship team that I've seen, at least Alabama, in the last few years, is that every team that they play does not look the same for the rest of the year.
They're broken.
And I think that's ended up happening. And I think you're seeing that we traded a couple of texts back and forth about Jimbo getting all in the face of that player and grabbing him by the face mask and stuff. I think the frustration's starting to show, and I think Alabama was the catalyst for some bad stuff happening right now at Texas A&M.
But think about it. You work really hard to get these players to buy into your system, especially Jimbo. He's still getting to know his players. His players are still getting to know him. They're building up trust. They come close against Clemson, and they go, hey, we lost, but we still believe in what we're doing. And you say, all right, we can give Alabama a run for their money. And then you get in there and you don't give Alabama a run for their money. That erodes a lot of self-confidence. It erodes a lot of confidence in your coach. I think A&M's broken a little bit. Not to say Jimbo can't get that back, but this is going to be a giant speed bump for Jimbo every year where he goes up against Saban and then has to go re-win his team the second half of the season.
You ready for my wrestling reference of the week?
Oh, boy.
You say that Jimbo's broken. There's so we're going to see Brother Nero coming out. For those of you who know, there's the broken Matt Hardy, the broken Hardy family, mower of lawns. Okay, sorry, had to do it.
You lost me there. Sorry.
Adam knows what I'm talking about.
The only thing that was broken was that metaphor, Dave.
Oh, wow.
You know what a meta is for? Mower of lawn. Okay, that's our football talk.
Oh, man.
And now, Ben, hit us with those picks.
Mercy. Let's get to some top 25 action. Hey, look, West Virginia has crept into the top 10, at least in some regards. They are number 9 in the country after beating Texas Tech. I should have picked the Mountaineers there. They are hosting the Kansas Jayhawks in an 11 a.m. early kick. Who do you guys like for this game?
I gotta go with my country home to take me home. West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
Who sings that, Dave?
Me right now.
He busted it again.
He busted it again. All right, keep moving. Adam, who do you pick?
Yeah, I don't see any reason to pick Kansas in this at all, so West Virginia.
Yeah, I got to go with the Mountaineers as well. Hey, how about the Red River Shootout? Number 19, Texas, back on track and back in the top 25, taking on number 7, Oklahoma. Who do you guys like in this?
Tom Herman's luck runs out this week, Oklahoma.
Yep, I agree. I've been pretty bullish on Texas lately, but not this week. I've got Oklahoma, too.
I'm going to agree with you guys there and say Boomer Sooner. Maryland, 3-1 on the season, taking on a 4-1 team, Michigan. They're the number 15 team in the land, but they just struggled with Northwestern. Is Maryland going to be a struggle as well?
Not unless they make their players sweat some more. I got Michigan.
Too much, Dave.
Wow, too soon? Yeah, I've got Michigan here, too.
It's very tempting to go with Maryland on this one, but I am going to take the Wolverines at home. Northwestern, who we just mentioned, will be taking on number 20, Michigan State. Who do you guys like for this game in East Lansing?
I like Michigan State.
Yeah, this is the one. This is that early to middle part of the season game with Michigan State where I always think they're going to give up an upset. I don't think it'll be Northwestern, though, so I'm going to go with Michigan State.
Yeah, this is not an upset. I'm going to go with the Spartans on this one. Boston College, they were in the top 25 earlier in this year after a 4-0 start. They're trying to rebound from their first loss of the season. They're taking on NC State, who now is in the top 25. The Wolfpack are rated number 23rd in the country, and they're 4-0. Do the Wolfpack stay undefeated?
Hey, y'all know what my favorite wrestling stable of all time is?
NWO?
We're waiting.
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. You might wind up in a body bag. I'm going with the Wolfpack.
Wow. More wrestling references.
I'm actually feeling bullish on Boston College on this one. I think they're going to return to their early season form and take down the Wolfpack.
All right, we're getting a little separation between Dave and Adam. I am tempted to pick Boston College, but I keep hearing a lot of folks saying NC State is for real, and I am going to go with the flow and go with what everybody's saying. I'm going to take the Wolfpack at home. Number 4, Clemson taking on Wake Forest. We know who their quarterback is. I think the Tigers are 5-0 on the season. Wake Forest 3-2. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
It doesn't matter who Clemson starts at quarterback, they win this game. I take Clemson.
Yeah, they get lucky in the fact that Wake Forest was their next opponent. They'll win this one, but if their quarterback doesn't come back from that concussion-like symptoms, I don't know if they cleared him or not, but he's going to have to be back for them to succeed. But this week they'll win.
Sure seems like Trevor Lawrence could be back from the concussion and all of that. Regardless, though, Clemson has the athletes. Clemson has the talent. Gonna pick the Tigers there. All right, the ACC battle for the state of Florida puts the Seminoles on the road at the Hurricanes. Miami's number 17 in the country. They're 4-1. Who do you guys like in this game?
Nobody, but I'll take Miami.
Yeah, I don't think Taggart's shown himself to be able to win a game like this yet. I think Miami's got this one.
I'm shocked to actually see Florida State is 3-2 on the season. If you'd asked me up or down, did they have a winning record, I would have said no, they've got a losing record. But they will be 500 after this game, after they lose to Miami. Iowa State, 1-3 on the season, is on the road at number 25 Oklahoma State. Who do you guys like for this game in Stillwater?
Pokes.
No hesitation. Yeah. Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I got to go for the Fighting Gundies there as well. Arizona State on the road at number 21. Colorado is 4-0. But they also haven't played anybody. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
I've got to go with Herm Edwards. I'm going to Arizona State.
It's been your mantra all season. Yeah.
I love Herm Edwards, man.
Yeah, I think Arizona State in this one too.
Both of you guys picking Arizona State. I am behind in the picks, I must confess. I got to get some separation, and I think it is here with Colorado that I'm going to play catch-up on you guys. I'll take the Buffaloes at home. Indiana on the road at number 3, Ohio State. The Buckeyes moving up after eking out the win against Penn State. They're still undefeated. Surely they would be after a game with Indiana, right?
Hey, guys, I got a question for you. It's 4th and 5. You got a Heisman candidate quarterback. What play call do you use?
How about a run?
Oh, yeah, let's have a run when Ohio State's been stopping the run all night.
See, I can coach in the Big Ten, too.
Yeah, I'll take Ohio State in a rout.
Yeah, I agree. Ohio State.
Do we not remember Indiana giving Ohio State trouble last year? Maybe the Hoosiers have got their number. Wouldn't this be a perfect upset to pick?
No.
I'd love to see it. I'm not going to pick it, though. I'll take the Buckeyes. SMU taking on the defending national champs, number 12, UCF. Still undefeated. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
I said it last week. I said it. I'm not going to pick anybody but UCF. They will not lose a game. I hope they make it in the playoffs so they can shut up and Alabama can dominate them.
Yeah, congratulations on the number 39 ranking in the FPI. This is the reason why you have that ranking. They will beat SMU.
I got to go with the Golden Knights there as well. Nebraska, poor Nebraska, 0-4. They're on the road this week at number 16, Wisconsin, who are 3-1. Does Nebraska get their first win here?
On Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin too. I think I appreciated Frost's Brian Kelly impression, though, blaming all the players and everything like he was doing. But I got Wisconsin in this one.
I feel bad for Scott Frost. He inherited a rough situation. It's always tough when you go back to your alma mater. It's going to get tougher this week when Nebraska's 0-5. 0-4 is already like the worst start in like 40 or 50 years. I don't know when the last time they were 0-5 was, but it can't be pretty. I'm going to take the Badgers here. All right, a little Pac-12 action with number 10 Washington on the road at UCLA. Speaking of defeated teams, UCLA is also 0-4. Did the Bruins get their first win here with a signature victory over the Huskies?
Washington wins this one.
Yep, I agree.
Gotta agree there as well. Gonna take the Huskies. Let's see. We've got a couple games left to pick. Hey, how about a ranked team versus ranked team matchup? Number 6, Notre Dame on the road at number 24, Virginia Tech. Stanford looked like a formidable opponent, but didn't prove to be against Notre Dame. Maybe things get tougher now that they're playing ACC opponents?
How is Virginia Tech still ranked after losing to Old Dominion? Notre Dame wins.
Yeah, I was down on Notre Dame until last week they showed up and showed off a little bit. They'll beat Virginia Tech this weekend, too.
Hey, Alabama's not the only team benefiting from a change in quarterbacks. Notre Dame is gonna get their 6th win of the season here. I'll take the Fighting Irish. All right, one more Pac-12 game to pick. Utah versus number 14 Stanford. The Cardinal trying to bounce back from their first loss of the season. Do they get the win here?
The Cardinal get a win if and only if Bryce Love can come back and look better. So I've got the Cardinal winning if their star running back can come back and play.
Yeah, this is a tempting one to pick to create some separation and pick the upset, but I think Stanford will pull it out.
Gotta think Stanford bounces back with this one. They still have the Pac-12 to fight for, and if their only loss is to Notre Dame, that's still going to be a pretty good-looking season for them as long as Notre Dame keeps winning. So I'm going to take the Cardinal there to get the win. Hey, let's get to some SEC games now, because I know that's what we've been waiting on. Mizzou is on the road against South Carolina. South Carolina's 2-2 after not being able to handle the Cats. Are they better suited to handle Tigers this week?
I think South Carolina comes back and wins this one. And you're really going to see that Missouri's not a good team, and Alabama's going to dominate again next week. I got South Carolina winning pretty handily.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep hearing everybody talk about how great Drew Lock is, but I don't hear anybody ever picking Missouri to win games like this. I think Missouri's got this one this weekend against South Carolina. I think Drew Lock shows up to his potential and they win.
Adam, I'm going to actually agree with you. Missouri is 3-1 for a reason, and while they've got a lot of flaws, so do the Gamecocks. So I will take Mizzou on the road. Number 5, LSU travels to Gainesville to take on number 22, Florida. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
I've been racking my brain about this game all day. I'm just going to do it. I think that this game has been circled on Gainesville's calendar for all year, all season. I think Florida wins this one. Florida pulls the upset and wins this game.
Fancy.
Dave taking the
all
Gators
right.
at home.
Duly noted, putting it in the spreadsheet. So I think the weekend before this in Dan Mullen's mind was circled a little bit more heavier marker than this one was. I didn't see a lot in Florida this year that has looked impressive. I think LSU has looked much more impressive than they have. Whether that continues down the stretch, I don't know, but I think this weekend LSU's got them covered. So I've got the Tigers to win.
Felipe Franks is not ready to handle Greedy Williams and a opportunistic LSU defense. I'm going to take the Tigers on the road, remaining undefeated. Louisiana Monroe, 2-3 on the season, travels to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, 3-2 on the season. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
The Dead Land Sharks will win this one. Land Shark.
That's my pick. I agree. There you go. Benjamin.
I'm going to agree with you guys and take Ole Miss as well.
Baby Shark.
Number 13, Kentucky.
Baby shark.
Number 13, Kentucky. Something I never thought I'd be saying is 5-0 on the season. They are on the road at Texas A&M. We just said earlier in the show that the Aggies are broken. Are they so broken that they can't handle Kentucky? Who do you guys pick?
I got Texas A&M winning this one. Kentucky is not for real, you guys. I keep telling you this. Kentucky is not for real. Texas A&M wins this one. We finally see flaws in Kentucky's system.
Yeah. Forget it. I'm going to pull a Ben Foster and be like, you know what? I think Kentucky's going to pull this out, and I think they've got what. No, I think Kentucky's got. I think they are for real to an extent this year. So I'm going to pick them to beat the Aggies.
Okay.
David.
There he is. He called me by my Christian name.
Kentucky is so much more than Benny Snell. They're actually playing pretty good defense. I'm not sure it's enough to contain A&M's quarterback, but I know if A&M turns in a performance like they did against Arkansas, Kentucky is definitely going to win this game. The question remains whether or not A&M gets it back together. If A&M plays their best ball, they should be able to win this home game. I just don't think they're going to play their best ball. I'm going to take the Cats on the road. They're going to be 6-0, and they're going to be knocking on the door of the top 10. What a time to be alive. Vandy taking on number 2, Georgia. Who do you guys like in this matchup?
Do we even have to ask?
Shouldn't.
Oh, go Dogs. Sick 'em.
Yeah, Georgia.
I will agree with you guys and hunker down with the hairy dogs for this pick. Number 8, Auburn is on the road at Mississippi State. Mississippi State once looked formidable, but now they've lost a couple of games to SEC East teams. Do they get back on track now that they're playing SEC West opponents?
I wanted so bad to pick Mississippi State, but my brother and I had this long conversation about how people in Starkville are starting to think that the high school professor, as Adam so wonderfully calls him, can't make in-game adjustments. He's basically Mike Shula. In a closer game than most people want to admit, Auburn wins.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Auburn's going to win. I don't know about close, though. I can't get myself there, but Auburn takes the win.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. It's not going to be like the one that was based on field goals a few years ago. One of the most glorious things I've ever seen. But I definitely think the advantage here goes to Auburn based on athleticism and based on the quality of Auburn's defense. I will take the Tigers on the road. One game left to pick, gentlemen, and we don't just need a win-loss prediction. We need an actual score prediction. It's Alabama 5-0 on the road against the Arkansas Razorbacks, who are 1-4. Are the Razorbacks starting to put something together?
So here's a stat for you. As of today, October 3rd, it has been 4,031 days and 7 head coaches since Arkansas beat Alabama.
Holy cow.
It will be a lot more days than that. It will probably be a couple more head coaches than that. This game's not even going – it's going to make that Louisiana-Lafayette game look close. I'm going to say Alabama blows the doors off, and I'm going to say 56-3.
Wow.
Well, at least Arkansas's kicker can make a field goal then in Dave's mind.
Right?
Yeah, I think Alabama's going to run away with this one. We'll see the typical script that every game has followed so far this year, and I think 63-14.
Wow, thinking Arkansas is going to get a couple of touchdowns in there.
On our third and fourth string
Everybody
defense.
else can.
I think Alabama has got the clear advantage, and that will be the biggest understatement I make all season long. Alabama's going to win this game on just sheer reps, and I think it's really going to be how much you want to pad the stat line and get people work versus how much you want to get people that wouldn't normally get work extra time on the field. I'm going to pick Alabama to win this one. Let's go 56-10. 6.
All right.
There we go.
Well, there's our picks.
That's it. Those are the picks.
Wait. We normally do our sideline warning here, but we've been asking for it for weeks. Adam, somebody called the Blitz line.
They did.
And I think here's where we need to play the Blitz line. What is this call about?
This call, as I bring it up, is about it's from the city of Cleveland again. I don't know if one of us irritated someone from there.
Certainly wasn't me. I hold Cleveland in the highest regard. Cleveland rocks.
Wasn't the word dumpster fire used?
Oh, I think it was, if I remember correctly. And who was it that used that?
Ben. It was Hollywood.
Imagine that.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me play this for you guys really quick, and let's hear what they have to say for themselves.
All right.
Hey, what? The city of Cleveland here. Hey, we won a game. The Browns are going to the Super Bowl. Ah! Oh my God! Hey, pass me one of them Bud Lights. Come on, pass me a Bud Light. I can't believe it. Haha! I told you guys. I told you we ain't a dumpster fire. We ain't Benjamin Foster. Take that. Browns to the Super Bowl. We're winning. Woo!
Wow.
Ben, you care to retort?
There's still a dumpster fire. Yes, it's amazing you won a game, and you should be very excited to have Baker Mayfield. The Indians, I like their pitching and the potential for what that can do in the playoffs, and I'm really excited that Cleveland, the Cavaliers, have decided to upgrade and add a second Alabama alum to the mix. They've brought Levi Randolph on board. And so right now, for at least the exhibition games and warm-ups preseason, Levi Randolph is a Cleveland Cavalier. Hopefully he's going to get one of those roster spots and be with the team the whole season. But the Cavaliers are touting Sexton and Randolph, and so I got to go buy some Cavaliers gear. That's where I'm at. I am pulling for the tribe in the American League as long as they don't take down the Sox, and I'm definitely a Cavaliers fan. They, along with the Spurs, those are going to be the two teams I pull for in the NBA this year. So, Cleveland, you're finally doing something right. I'm proud of you.
There you go.
I'm glad my pep talk worked.
Hey, and for those of you who don't know, the city of Cleveland is actually played by a friend of the show, Brian Key. And we're going to bring Brian on next week. If you don't know, Brian has a podcast about video games, and video games and sports kind of collided in the last couple of weeks because Tua Tagovailoa tweeted that he wants to see EA Sports bring back the NCAA football franchise. So we're going to bring Brian on the show to talk about what happened with the NCAA franchise, what went wrong, and is there a possibility to bring it back? So if you want to hear the city of Cleveland go off on Ben live, Brian might do that.
I'd love it.
All right, so there you go. There is our Blitz line. You've heard our picks. You've heard our takes. Ben, hit him with that sideline warning.
My sideline warning is simple. Right now, it is easy to get lost in the mix of college football and your NFL fantasy teams, and, of course, the excitement of the Major League Baseball postseason. But while you're looking at those things, I think it's also absolutely critical to point out that there's also some great stuff going on in Alabama basketball. Over the weekend, Alabama picked up 4-star shooting guard Jaden Shackelford. If you like John Petty when he's good, you're going to like Jaden Shackelford all the time. This guy
I didn't like John Petty at all.
This guy can shoot. He is from Hesperia, California. That is right. Alabama basketball is a coast-to-coast operation now. We will go get the guys wherever they are. So South Carolina, Mississippi, and California, that's the three guys that are currently committed for the 2019 class. They're all 4-stars, Jawan Gary, Jalen Forbes, and Jaden Shackelford. With those three guys, Alabama basketball currently has the number 7 recruiting class in the nation. And there are at least a couple of good players out there that Alabama is still efforting towards. So a potential for Alabama to move up even more in the rankings. So great work to Avery Johnson and, of course, Antoine Petway and Yasir Roseman and John Pelfrey. Great job from the entire staff working on recruiting these guys. It continues to be a theme with the recruits, how much they feel at home and feel loved by the coaching staff. So something's working, and that's something to be excited for. And by the way, Alabama's actually got some exhibitions and some preseason parties going on, and open practice and the Tide tip-off party are happening this month. So basketball is upon us, gentlemen. So if you're not ready to buckle up, you need to get ready to buckle up. And if you are currently unbuckled, you have been warned.
Unbuckled.
I'll buckle up with you, Ben.
There we go. That's the spirit.
So I want to just, mine will be pretty quick. Thoughts and prayers for us. There's been a couple of head injuries that have popped up in football this weekend specifically. One was with a Tennessee State player while they were playing Vanderbilt, and another one was a Georgia high school football player. Both kind of the same thing, normal football plays, nothing too horrible, like not a really a bad hit or anything, but both players went back to the sideline and then had symptoms show up after a few minutes. The Tennessee State player is still fighting and in critical condition from what I've heard, but the Georgia high school football player actually passed away. And so thoughts and prayers out to those families. You know, we talk a lot about football and we put it out there and have a lot of fun with it, watching from the sidelines, but there's a risk that they take on putting on that form of entertainment for us. So thoughts and prayers to them and for everybody that dons the pads this week. But I want to throw out there on the same side, I hear a lot of talk about the new QB sack rule in the NFL and how you can or can't sack a quarterback now. I think, though, as long as we continue to see these types of things happening, that rule is going to be necessary. Players are bigger and stronger, and I know that the safety is a little bit different in the NFL with quarterback helmets and stuff like that, but I think for every NFL rule that we disagree with or college football rule for safety we disagree with, there's a player that's impacted when the rules don't exist. So laugh and have fun, and I've seen a couple of funny videos about that rule, but definitely appreciate the safety that the NFL looks for and putting that rule in place for their players, especially when you see these things happening at other levels. So that's mine for the week.
Well said, Adam. Well said. Mine is going to be along the same lines. I think we talked about it a little bit, and Ben kind of went a little deeper into it than I wanted him to because of my sideline warning.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, you know. But to all the students that are there at the university and all of the alumni, everybody that holds a ticket, I would venture to say, while that stadium holds 101,000 people, roughly, Ben, wouldn't you venture to say there was at most 70,000 people in that stadium? If that. So let's just say there was at most 70,000 people.
And that's generous. You're being generous, Dave.
Right. That leaves 31,000 tickets just floating around that were unused. There are tons of boys and girls in the Boys and Girls Clubs, tons of orphans, tons of people who don't get a chance to go see an Alabama football game that would die. Die is the wrong word, but that would just be ecstatic. That would make their year, their life, their whatever, to be able to step in and see a live Alabama football game. The University of Alabama needs to put something in place that allows students, that allows Tide Pride, that allows anybody to donate those tickets so that there could be a chance to have a full stadium, because that looks better on TV, helps with ad revenue, so it helps with money. Also, to do something good for the community. How great would it be? How great publicity would it be to say 30,000 orphans, 30,000 inner city youth got to go to a game that they never would have gotten a chance to do because this many people donated tickets. Universities all over the place, not just Alabama, universities all over the place need to have some sort of program in place where this can happen. You don't have to make money. Heck, it could be a tax write-off. Be a tax write-off. Let somebody lesser than you go to a game. I see nothing wrong with this. I only see positives. Greg Byrne needs to look into this and make this happen in Alabama and be a trendsetter for the rest of the country and the rest of the league. And there you go. I'm done. Off my soapbox.
Well said, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so that's it. That's our show for the week. Guys, hope y'all enjoy the pig roast that will happen Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Have your barbecue ready, because I know in Fayetteville, Alabama will be smoking some barbecue and smoking some pigs. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at SW The Show. I'm at DAdams419. He is at The Ben Foster. Adam is at Run Tide Run. He is actually tweeting a lot now. Guys, I think we have broken him into Twitter.
We have created a monster.
As soon as I start tweeting, I get blocked by Tim Brando. So
hey,
it's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Nothing's more inspiring, really.
Right? We created a monster. Also, if you want to interact with us like the city of Cleveland does, Adam, how do they get a hold of the show?
931-44-BLITZ. Give it a call. Google voice number we've set up. And leave a voicemail there like you've heard the city of Cleveland do a couple of times now. And as you've seen, we'll play it on the air and then talk about it. If you got a question you want to ask us or a take you want to share, call in 931-44-BLITZ and we'll play it and talk about it.
Also, find us on Facebook. We're facebook.com/SW The Show. Also, find the Sideline Warning fan group. We all interact there. In fact, we haven't posted there in a day or two. We need to start posting some more. We need to start interacting with our fans. Also, we're on Instagram. We're at SW The Show on Instagram. Guys, we say it every week. We love you, and we really do mean it. We'll see you next week. And as always, roll tide. My wife said she'll listen to all the podcasts and she'll just fast forward to the end so she can hear the funny things.
Yes.
Well, we'll have to sparse them in equally so she'll listen to the whole thing.
We are now putting our outtakes at the 17th minute of the podcast. It's just a weird break that we're taking. We may be in mid-sentence.
This is the bronze voice of Florida, the trash panda, whatever my nickname is this week, and I don't have to check my levels on the upside because I don't raise my voice.
This is the bronze trash of Panda, Florida. I'm sorry, what? You heard me.
Bronze panda of trash Florida. There you go.
You heard me. Why is Good Charlotte playing on the halftime show on Monday Night Football?
We in the club, bottle
of my gosh. All right, I'm about to retweet this.
I'm in the heaven, I ain't into making love, so come give me a hug again.
I could literally go the rest of my life without Dave rapping 50 Cent.
My face is not unlocking my iPhone.
Your iPhone's like, oh, no.
Dave takes the phone and just starts smacking it in his face.
So are they going to go, all right, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon, daily and nightly. Will it ever stop?
No.